Story time of the most dirtiest college roommate ever. By the way, we're calling her Jessie. So I moved in before Jessie and I get settled and decorate. The next day, she comes and throws her bag on the bed, then leaves. I thought it was weird because she didn't even say anything to me. Couple hours later, she comes back and I'm like, hello? And she's like, my bad, and comes give me a hug. She smelled very bad. She starts unpacking all of her clothes and blankets, but they smelled like mildew. Anyways, a week later, there's this party going on for freshmen, and she goes, but I stay in because I had a migraine. I told her that when she comes back, can she keep the light off? Now it's 2 a.m., and she comes back in very loud, uses the bathroom, then goes to sleep. And now I'm up, so I got up to use the bathroom too. When I sit down on the toilet, I feel something very squishy. It was dark because, like I said, I had a migraine. I get up, turn the light on, and I was sitting in her shit.
Story time about why my aunt put me back into foster care. Yes, she put me back into foster care. So a little background information, I was 15 years old and a sophomore in high school. But whenever I was 12 years old, I was in a very abusive household. And I had two younger sisters. One was 11 and the other one was 9. Fast forward, all of us were put into foster care. I got placed into many shelters / group homes because of my behavioral issues. While I was going through all of this, my sisters were both in study homes, so that kind of sucked. I mean, I was happy for them, but at the same time, I was going through hell. But eventually, my grandma and my dad passed away, so my aunt decided that she wanted my sisters and I. So she got her foster license, and the days leading up to whenever we were supposed to move in with her were absolute garbage. There was this one girl who was 19 years old. Her and I did not get along, and I was supposed to leave that Wednesday, but I didn't want to wait, so I decided that I was going to get myself kicked out in hopes that I would be able to move in with my aunt sooner. Like for part 2. Part 2 about why my aunt put me back into foster care. So like I said, I found a way that I was going to get kicked out, and it was by fighting this girl. And yes, I won. But fast forward, eventually my sisters and I move in with my aunt. And if you guys ever heard the phrase honeymoon, you probably think of a relationship, right? Wrong. I was actually shocked about how fast everything went downhill whenever we got there. Like eventually my cousins just started being mean to me for no reason, while they favored my sisters. And when I say cousins, you guys are probably thinking they're around my age. No, they were actually in their 20s. Hell, one was even close to 30. Like, these were grown-ass adults beating on a 15-year-old. So eventually, my cousins, my aunt, and I are fighting almost every single day. And the one day, my sister and I got into an argument that eventually turned into us fighting. And my cousins love to jump in every fight that my sister and I have. Well, they jumped in this fight, and instead of helping break it up, they actually made it worse. The one was holding my leg down, and eventually, I got it up, and I kicked her in the face. And my aunt thought that it was my fault, so she sent me to foster.
Am I the asshole for demanding my husband cancel his boys' weekend and come home? Basically, my husband and I have been married for about 6 years and have a 3-year-old daughter, Elle. Prior to getting married and having Elle, we were both very independent people. This hasn't changed. As much as we value our couple/family time, we also both cherish time to ourselves and with our friends. We came up with an agreement that we each get 1 weekend a year to do whatever we like. Go away, stay in a hotel, go out with friends, while the other stays home looking after Elle. It's been working really well so far. Well, this past weekend was my husband's time, and he chose a fishing trip with pals, staying in a cabin roughly 30 minutes away. No problems. Saturday morning, the worst happened. My sister was involved in a serious car wreck. She's on life support. It's touch and go, and I'm devastated. I called my husband to tell him and ask he come home ASAP, and he refused. He said it's his weekend and hospital Monday. He wasn't totally heartless. He listened to me cry and scream and reassured me she'd be okay. How do we know that? But he was adamant that he's enjoying the remainder of his weekend and will join me today. My family are obviously noticing his absence, and I'm too embarrassed to tell them. I understand this is interfering with his weekend, but this is my sister, and she's in critical condition. I'm stunned. He's never been this selfish before. I'm angry, upset, confused, and I just don't know what to do. I told him if he didn't come home now, don't bother coming home at all. Now I'm wondering if I was too harsh because I haven't slept in 2 days and I'm a wreck. Am I the asshole?
No.
Not at all.
Am I the asshole for telling my sister to stop taking showers with her husband in my house? My female 32 sister 28 and her husband 32 male moved in with us 2 days ago. They lost their apartment to medical debts for their child, and my husband and I are more than happy to have them stay for a few weeks. However, yesterday at 7 p.m., I was in the kitchen when my husband rushed in and said he saw both my sister and her husband walk out of the bathroom. So they'd most likely taken a shower together. My husband said that it irked him, and I agreed what they did was somewhat inappropriate. He asked me to talk to my sister about it, and I did. She got defensive, asking how this is affecting me or my husband.
I'm reading this title, you guys, and I'm already gonna give them my asshole stamp because I don't think there's any way, shape, or form that this person can be right. Am I the asshole for being glad that my future sister-in-law had a miscarriage before my wedding? I swear that's the title, guys. I know this sounds very bad, but hear me out. Me, 24 male, and my fiance, 22 female, are planning to get married this summer. Now, one of her bridesmaids is her sister, 27 female, who planned to attend our wedding while 7 months pregnant. I obviously really didn't like that, as I figured that her pregnancy would steal attention from us, especially as she's one of the bridesmaids. And she's honestly such an attention seeker that I wouldn't put it past her to have gotten pregnant purposefully before our wedding in order to upstage us. But there was no way I could have excluded her from the wedding as she's my fiance's sister, so I just dropped it. Oh my god, this guy is so insecure. First of all, okay, no one's gonna be looking at a pregnant lady at your wedding, okay? She's already done her wedding, she's already done all that. She's pregnant, like she's living her happy-go-lucky life. No one cares about you that much to plan their life around your wedding. I'm not gonna not get pregnant because your wedding's coming up to not upstage you. Like, you are a selfish piece of shit for even having that kind of thought process. And you're 24, you should be an adult, and you're getting married and you think like this. You just sound like a very, very insecure and jealous person. However, she recently had a miscarriage, and while I felt sorry for her, I was also kind of glad about it because now she wouldn't be able to upstage us at our wedding. Can someone explain to me how someone being pregnant at your wedding would any way, shape, or form upstage you? I've been to so many weddings where there's pregnant people there. I don't think anyone has ever given anyone more attention there. If they announce their pregnancy at your wedding, that's different. But if they're visibly pregnant, like, calm down. My fiance took me with her in order to console her sister, and there I said, well, you should see the glass half full. Now at least you can wear a smaller bridesmaid dress at our wedding. My fiance glared at me, and then her sister said, is your wedding the only thing you fucking care about? I tried to de-escalate the situation, but she just kept unloading on me about how much of a sadistic narcissistic I am, and when I've had enough, I told her, well, I'm sorry that your failed pregnancy won't allow you to upstage us at our wedding anymore, which made her burst into tears. My fiance tried to calm her down, but my future sister-in-law just told us to get out of her house, which we did. All hell broke loose at home when my fiance started scolding me about how I could be so insensible at her sister's recent trauma. But I told her that she was the one who started to insult me over an inoffensive mark meant to cheer her up. We've had a big argument about it, and I'm sleeping in the guest room. She's still very bitter about it and says that she doesn't know if she'll be able to go through with the wedding if her sister decides to drop out of it because of me. I think she's overreacting about the whole situation, as her sister would probably stir up some trouble at the wedding anyway, but maybe I should have indeed handled the situation with her miscarriage better than how I did. So am I the asshole? Oh my god. Infuriates me the most about this, like, everything she's going through. At 7 months, you don't just like, baby's gone. She had to give birth to a baby and the baby's dead. You had a full-blown baby in your arms and her baby wasn't able to live. And the fact that the first thing that came to your mind was about what a fucking stupid-ass joke about the dress size, 1. 2, like, you're so insecure. You're so sensitive about this. Like, what is wrong with you?
My husband, who has been parenting my daughter for 10 years, doesn't want to adopt her after she asked him to be her dad for real, and I don't know what to do about our marriage. I had a child when I was 16, and I'm not with her father, and quite honestly, I don't know where he is. He wanted nothing to do with my daughter. When she was 6, I met my current husband. He promised me he would love her and treat her like his own, and he seems like he has. We have more kids together, and it was her 16th birthday last week, and she told me she wanted her stepdad to adopt her. I thought this was a great idea, and he's always been her dad anyways. He said yes, and there were a lot of happy tears, and my younger kids were happy. It was one of the happiest moments of my life. That night, he told me he wanted to talk. He told me that he did love her, but not the same, and he felt a bit weird adopting her because he felt like it would be a disservice to her to have a dad who didn't love her like his other kids. He told me that he wanted to talk to her about it and say that she could definitely take his last name if she wanted to, but he couldn't adopt her and that he felt bad about it. But it wouldn't be fair to anyone. He said he knows we are a package deal and would always treat her well and like a part of the family, but he couldn't be her dad. He told me he was sorry and he felt guilty and that he would take care of it and I didn't have to. My heart never hurt more in that moment, and I genuinely feel like I failed my daughter. I told him I didn't want him to speak to her about it, and that if he doesn't think of her as his kid, then it is my job as a parent to take care of her. I don't know what to do. Do I ask for a divorce? I felt sick, dizzy, and numb all week. How do I tell my daughter? He's helped raise her and shared the best and worst moments with her. I don't know what to do.